Philadelphia. I am beginning meditation and I hit record. I was requested. So here I am. And I am grateful to be able to do the job. There have been many obstacles I'm hearing that my focus just didn't focus on. I have as they say, estranged allies and family. And I suspect that there's a narrative about me that I don't actually care about. I'm not here for performance any longer. The ship has sailed. I decided to lock in to God and what the mission is for me. It requires a great deal of delicate. It requires my love for humanity. I wish those were hard words to say, but they're not. They've always been there. Since I was a little kid. I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up. I think I went through them all. Trying to size one up just for me. Who could I be? And then I finally settled on one. Professor X. And God has a funny way of just making dreams come true. I was accused of daydreaming a lot as a child. And I guess in many ways I was daydreaming. But I didn't know that I had clairvoyance either. So the pictures were real to me. It's one of the reasons why television really locked me in, and I began to watch the patterns. I argued with someone once, my ex-wife, and I laugh to this day when I think about that because I hadn't given much thought into arguments about not loving someone. It was obvious that she didn't like me. So I endured. I stayed where I wasn't liked, celebrated. She performed for my uncle. It was such a performance that he bought it and argued with me about how this woman loves me. I couldn't tell him she held my nose when I couldn't breathe while I was sleeping. It woke me up and she was just hovering over top of me. Yeah. I was dedicating everything that I had into altering my own behavior in front of my kids so that I could be a positive role model to them. In spite of her. I try ways to bend and contort myself in the face of people who gave zero fucks about me. And we're talking about family, friends, ex-lovers, ex-partners, ex. I've collected a lot of them. So I've recorded their psyches. For pattern recognition. I really dug in to trying to figure out why within 60 days I was being gaslit. Like I didn't know the game. Like I don't have intuition. Like I can't see. We're not even talking about seeing. I can see. I've had dreams about women and I wasn't in their life. And then I'd have dreams. Because I am such a wishful thinker. Correction. I was a wishful thinker. I don't have to do that anymore. I put a lot of time and effort into living the dark night of the soul, where my law of attraction abilities were blocked. I knew they were blocked. It was tough times for what needed to be done. I needed to have it taken away because I was using it for people who gave zero fucks about me. They were, well, they were in different aspects of my, I do moon ritual vision boards, and I was like, how in the hell am I not rid of this person? And I was so blind with oh my goodness, deficit model thinking that I bound myself to somebody that was lying to me. And it activated the purple flame that I use to infinitum. I use it every day, multiple times. And I still remember the first picture of her face and this thick purple cloud surrounding her, people around her, and what was going on behind the scenes. So I could only see her face. I do not know how to interpret it, so I just remembered what it looked like. And I know how to go and get memories and look at them. And that shit just sometimes just grabs it. And you're like, huh, remember this? I'm looking at it and I see something different from the last time that I looked at it. And I like having side view mirrors on my bike for that reason, so that I can check my blind spots to remember what it was like to have addictions, that blinded me. I have no addictions. I'm pointing to God. You think I turn my ship on? To go back? And assist motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about me? That's you. They're gonna have to read about this. Cause he already told me to name names. Some of this was downright cynical. Awesome. Oh man, I couldn't even pay attention enough. I didn't care what you said or did. Once you said no. No means no to me. It's a complete sentence. Just so you know. It's always going to be a no. And that's not even... That's the middle tier. That's my Ajife. No. It's either a hell yeah or it's no. There's no deliberation. I know what a hell yeah does. There's a long list of things that tell me what it is. Not. I feel other people's emotions when I'm next to them. I can feel how you feel about me. I didn't dislike my ex-wife. I had a fairy tale that she would be the type of mother that her sons would want to say, I'd like to thank my mom for persevering to get us through to something. never seen such a big epic fail. I mean, deadbeat. Dude. Deadbeat dude. Bad. And I thought it was to teach me a lesson. In front of me. I had studied enough to give them the quality 0 to 8 stability. To try to calm their minds down. At least the part that's me. I hope that they still do visualization meditations. I just taught them how to imagine themselves as their favorite player for basketball. But instead of their favorite player's face, it's their face. It's their body moving up and down the court, faking, juking. I didn't leave it to chance that they would think like me. So I programmed it in. I started coaching so that I could be a good mentor. It turns out it made me a really effective dad. Because they didn't really know that I was programming them. I had short time with them. So the things that I had them do was repetitive. And sometimes they just didn't do it. So I got the opportunity to come by the house and see them a little bit more frequently. So I would walk. I would ride my bike. I would take advantage of the ability to spend the summer with them. I was a familiar face. And I remember the wish that was mouthed to me. And that was right around the time that felt flirted with. And I was so disgusted. And God moved me right then and there. My clippers gone. I taught my son how to cut his own hair. And I told him he was going to have to practice to get good. But I gave him clippers. I found clippers in the house and started cutting hair when I was, I don't know, it was 1989. And I destroyed my younger brother's head. I love that boy so much. Oh shit, if ever I was gonna blow some shit up. He endured my leadership. He went to college, he graduated, he waited, he got married. He did not do the opposite of me. In fact, he actually did something that I had attempted to do unsuccessfully. But he knew about that relationship, and I think it was it's hard being a role model and not remembering that you're a role model. And I think that would have been helpful for her to know. Because I was disgusted. Because I was a bad picker. But I have two wonderful boys. I know they're wonderful. I studied their patterns. I watched them fight, or at least attempt to. I was on guard for something that was ancestral. I didn't really know it at the time, but my sons, like myself, are old souls. They are Cain and Abel. And in my absence, because there is an abandonment wound in my father's bloodline that I just stomped out I stomped that shit out. I talked about it in another video, but I want to talk about it again. Django, the role that Samuel Jackson played, was an ancestor who's buried in my family's cemetery. I was curious to know how a sharecropper came up on 100 acres of land. Blackety black. He inherited it. And no one except for his own kids is trying to hit them over the head for the land. I don't know how the guy left, but he left. He left a child, and that child started his own bloodline. He went back and got him, claimed him, and buried him. Did I hear that correctly? Yes. It's not simple for us to develop something that is cancerous to our system. It's up to my sons to follow my pattern. I am, there's a sidebar that I need to explain for this next comment. I have, during the members' work, I called my heart a hopeful romantic as its community name during the exercise that starts our members' work. Because you have to identify who is in your community of self. And I have trauma. So I have 21, had 21 members, and that one member was my heart. And I didn't realize it at the time. Let's see. It's like my heart really likes women. So I would give it. I was giving them the hopeful romantic, and I was exercising my allowing. So I wasn't at a loss. I didn't feel like I lost anything. I picked up more than I put down. This was intellectual property. I got their patterns. I got their history. I know things about them that they don't know about them. Because I didn't fight fire with fire. I hated to fight my sister. So I hated fighting women. If I'm arguing, if I'm raising my voice, it's to be felt. And there's one incident where I wasn't felt. And it was pertaining to my sons. And their mental health. And them seeing me be cursed out by a woman that they keep hearing say she loves me. She doesn't know how to show it in front of them. And she could afford a lawyer because she was making more money than me while I was paying for her life. She took him. And I am the villain in her story. I left that out of my first book. It's not staying out of the second edition. Because there was definitely abuse taking place. It took me 5 years to get myself together. Domestic violence is real for men. But nobody wants to hear that. Soft. There has never been a place for me to be soft. I wish somebody would call me soft. Everywhere I went was a hostile environment. And I kept just saying, once I realized that I was this category 10 mutant, I'm a Heyoka empath, which means that I can feel the emotions of a room, of a conversation. I can feel I was really on mission with my sons and off mission on some other things. And I stayed places too long because I was learning something and I didn't want to interrupt that because I cared more about the learning obsessive. That's what I loved about not knowing what was irritating me about Kobe. Why am I irritated about this man? And it was something inside of him that was inside of me, and we both got it from the same person. And so I love this phrase, the Mamba mentality. I taught it to my sons. Well, the blueprint. And added a whole lot of extra coaching to it. And I'm not talking about like the regular coaching. I'm talking about like basketball coaching. I told them to put it on the ball, put it on. I didn't even tell them. I got white construction paper and drew this big bulletin board with their task on it and told them to hang it up in their room. Look at it every morning. We had our little arts and crafts. My younger brother taught me to be the adult that I wanted as a child, because what I was doing for him hadn't been done for me. And I was just a few years ahead of him. You would think that my brother grew up with his dad. That's the stable feeling that I get when I'm around him. You can tell when someone has that balance of energy, whether it's toxic or not, right? But there's a balance to it. And when you are emotionally triggered by an imbalance in someone, you notice the balance. My bar was so high. It was so high. It was superficial. My bar now is priests. And I didn't make that up. That is an ordinance given to me by the mothers. And I needed it because it narrows everything down for me. If there is no dedication to God that's taking place, I can't even be in the room with you. I don't have anything to talk about. Give my life force to you. I can get more done with it on my own. I learned that when you raise your kundalini and you send your sexual energy back up your spine, you get a chemical reaction that broadcasts to your higher self that you are ready to play. That is the chemical reaction of Christos, the story of Christ. The movement down the 32 vertebrae into the sun center, solar plexus, where it dies for 3 days. And if you study astrology and it's timed just right for your moon, you can make the magic happen. If you studied sexology, Taoism, how is it that you get part of the story over here, the other part over there, the part over there, and nobody talks to each other? pretty good at talking. And I went over there, got that, learned it, went over there, got that, learned it. There's a pattern to it. I just kept going and learning stuff. And occasionally I needed a teacher, which awkward because if I don't sleep with my teacher, she gets mad and, fucks me over. Do sleep with your teacher, she gets mad and fucks you over. So, shout out to Lakia, Michelle, Katora, y'all. Y'all made the book. Shit, I'm still learning stuff that these deviants have done. I need adjudicators because I don't want to read this. I don't want to sit and view this because I don't care. But they have to be adjudicated. They have to be given an atonement hearing. Except for the ones who were found in contempt. That gets pulled off the table and you get a warning. 72 hours. It's the ideal thing to go ahead and pray, right? God just gave you a warning of 72 hours. Imagine knowing someone who can break curses. Wow. And heal. And all that other important stuff that he was born to provide to the world. And you behind the scenes saying, nah, fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga. I hope that circulates how it should, because really, it's doesn't matter your skin tone. Hate is hate. I have a very tough job. And I feel like I'm being spat on. While I walk down the hall to do it. And no one sees where I'm going. I don't even get to see. I have breadcrumbs. these are the best kind because, like the song said, God got me. Woke up to an eviction notice taped to my door. Same week that my main man, Couture, said she wasn't my main man no more. Pressure closing in, I can feel the heat. But my soul stayed quiet because it's a rumula. That meant more than I understood. I'm still understanding. But my soul stayed quiet because it knew it couldn't be defeated. That's God's way of reiterating. And he got me in a major way so that I program it in and I listen to this song on repeat. I'm sure the people at the shelter was hating. Because every time I went to brush my teeth and shave, I was letting it play on repeat to remind me. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. I am in the valley of the shadow of death. Sitting. Now was with me, his rod and staff. I have archangels, brothers, big brothers. To my right. I have Agun and the lower on the left. Ifa incarnate again above my head. Yeah. He claims my head. He claims my ego. This is the most bizarre. I am living this real time and I am learning, and some of this stuff don't make sense to me yet. But I always make time for God. And within a day or so, when I relax and SU has completely wiped my mind. Whenever there is something, and pattern recognition, and whenever there is something that needs to be done without my intervention, mental intervention, we go on an adventure. And that is probably one of the coolest things to know, that it's like we're going for a walk. Yeah, where? Oh man, today I actually Googled it and followed the map. Oh, it was far. Oh my goodness. I feel strong in my legs. Being outside reset my nervous system, and I'm grateful for that, because there were a lot of things that the body was desperate in need of repair. And I remembered to stay away from the things that harmed me. And I was surrounded by it. Which speaks to the programming, the reprogramming, the discipline to be a self-master. When everyone walks up to you asking you for a cigarette, no, I don't smoke. And when they light up a cigarette next to me, that's it. Hey, I don't smoke. Not even secondhand. Now, there are people that would say smoking weed is smoking. I don't smoke. I ritualize, which is ingesting 2 pulls, holding it, and allowing it to circulate before I release it. That's mastering your breath so that you can hold it into your lungs, where it does where it activates the cannabinoids in your system. And for people like me, it makes the lights brighter. Anybody getting high? I'm watching movies. That's the difference between a schizophrenic and a yogi. a yogi can go in and out of the state as they please. Schizophrenic, it's always on. Shit is scary. You ever been too high? Can you get paranoid? Because you got secrets. People always telling themselves, they say, I don't smoke. I got skeletons in my closet and those shits come out and creep me out when I'm in an altered state because I'm operating below board. That's simple. If you allow it to elevate you to a higher frequency, it's getting high. You don't have to be doped up. Not for this. Yogis have ritualized every form of poison that you could think of. How do you think they do that? They claim ownership. The spirit inside of everything is the spirit that's inside of you. Some crazy tricks that you can do with that. Command your environment, command your body. I had a board meeting with the cells in my body. Imagination. Made it fun to be there. It was like watching a Pixar movie. That's what I made my body look like, a Pixar movie. I was full of color. I remember exactly what I said. I said I want to weigh 202 pounds again. I hadn't thought it through. That's you. The fuck you say? Oh, snap. Yeah. That was a 2-week fast. 2 weeks fast. 2 weeks fasting. I got every bit of that 202. Oh my goodness. When your body cells, fat cells, turn to mitochondria, and it's easier for it to be consumed as fuel, and man, it's like activating your body. It really is. It's like turning it on. And then you talk to it. I realized that 202 wasn't realistic. So I went to the next known number, which was 220. And I'm sure that I put 220 in because I burn calories overnight. At this rate, my body feels like a young kid. I have not done anything with my energy but store it. And I walked 27 miles the other night, and all overnight. I didn't even sleep. I just walked because I was stranded. My bank account was gone, and I had no support system. And I was sovereign because at that point I knew that I didn't have to answer to anybody, not even my mother. She had decided. So, sovereign. I don't have to answer my phone for nobody. As I was saying it, my intuition just was like, whoa. Oh, you're gonna have to answer your phone. Yeah. The phone will be working. We're an hour in. It's showing me new things. We have no. It's a bathroom interlude. Most of what I explained today is what my uncle, my father, probably anyone who's radical in their Christianity would argue with me about as being repentance. Repentance is removing what's pent up inside of you, and these habits are those things. And if you don't remove the habit, then you keep doing it. You keep doing the sin. That should be straightforward. That should be that's goofy to me. That this amount of information right there at our fingertips. And because I was letting someone else read it to me, and I wasn't paying attention, because the man I loved didn't love me back. He thought I was a problem. He couldn't understand how I survived in the city. It's like, damn. I was born in the city. We adapt to our environment. I had to fight people. In fact, once I started, I got good at it. Because I remembered what I did. All I know is my brother didn't have to fight. Same neighborhood. Yeah. I didn't want to have to fight. I didn't want to have to use weapons. I didn't want to have to do any of that stuff. I got talked into getting a shotgun on my family's land that was protecting me. The land was protecting me. And a watcher. Stepping on twigs in the woods. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy night. Oh my goodness. You know, I know what I saw. I know what I witnessed. I wasn't even meditating. It's like, huh. They are necessary, and they have the ability to help some of the non-playing characters awaken. I haven't received any restrictions yet on that, but we're talking about it. We want the war to stop. And we're discussing natural disaster or divine miracle or A galactic red dawn. A galactic red dawn. There are actually bad people on the planet. That are not controlled by demons. They just like the power. What can we do? Global police state. No, they went up there. They checked it out. They float on by the moon. Don't take any pictures. Russia didn't ask if they were up there. Oh, okay. Y'all here? Okay. It's in their history. They know where they came from. They should know where they came from. And if they didn't, the Book of Enoch talks about them. That's the most gangster thing that I've ever thought about. Thinking about the entire planet versus a country is big, because I haven't been to a lot of places to know if they're beautiful or not. And I'm deliberating on it. And these motherfuckers trying to trigger what might look like a galactic red dawn. Shit. What does harmony do? If it was possible. There are stories that I'm going to ask Eshu if I can share, because he has shown me how time works for him, and he is sharing my body. Y'all ain't even asked about that, dude. Y'all call him the Christ. That the oversoul, we call him Eshu. He wanted me to call him Eshu, so I call him Eshu. For the first 3 months, I called him Ori. They all mean the same thing to him. He explained why he responds to Jesus. I was like, oh, he does. And he responds to Jesus. If you're praying and you're praying to Jesus, then he's responding. When you open up the communication channel with God, that's what he's here for. He's relaying the message. We are communicating with the field of possibility, the monad. The quantum field. The sole governing force of the particle. Einstein. Asexual, which means that it birthed a man to give it a child. Imagine that. Not a rib. Not to be downplayed, but to be reminded that it's the womb of creation. Mother's Day looks different from this point of view. I was told that the mothers will drag you. If you don't toe the line. And then I saw what that looked like. And that's unfortunate. Our own minds can create scenarios that we rock with. What's more deviant is when we're in hell, we are receptive to the demons that are outside of the barriers of the lower. Like I was told, they like to fuck with you. And they will do things for you, but you are going to do things for them. And some of them have already flunked out of Earth school, so they would like for you to join them And that's why we have 298 watchers. From the original 300. 2 of them were factory reset. I don't even know what you call flying a person, being, life force into the sun to reset them. But damn. Law enforcement. That was the 4th seal. They took care of that. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I really don't know what's coming. But I'm here for it. But as you just said, Galactic Red Dawn twice, so y'all are about to fuck around and find out. I love this dude. I love this dude. Oh man, do you want to share that? Alright, cool. I don't have to share that. There are secrets. There are secrets. The owl has to keep I think we've covered everything we could.